Hello, this is week 8 of spatial ecology. This is Jessica and Nick, and today we're going to present on lecture and reading material. We discovered some concepts of scale that are important to understanding it in a better context. We understood that we need pattern processes that vary with scale, so we have to seriously consider scale in all experiments. Different experiments require different scales, and most experiments require multiple. An example of this is a 2018 study investigating bat distribution along the southwestern United States and northern Mexico state of Sonora, where different species of bats were using different areas based on different scales the researchers were using. There were examples of flight, foraging, and echolocation strategies that different species used along different areas that the bats occupied. It was revealed that different ecological processes occur at different zoogeographies across the study area. This conclusion was only possible because the researchers used different scales throughout their study.
So why does scale matter? As you change the scale, the control on the pattern and process also changes. While looking at a habitat at the broad scale will not have the fine details when looking at a smaller scale. For an example, you look at the picture to the left and you see a bunch of different types of tree species as well as a cliffside. But if you look to the picture to the right, you'll see more finer details like what specific species of trees and species of animals that live there.
One way to analyze this is using something called a moving window analysis. This takes the metrics of different cells or values in order to gain a more comprehensive view of the entire data set. Even though the windows present here are rectangles, they can be any shape so long as they cover most of the data set and are uniform.
For this week, we also did a reading, which was called Are Ecologists Conducting Research at the Optimal Scale? This talked about where landscape attributes are measured has a strong influence on infrared species-landscape relationships. It also talks about scale of effect, which is when researchers commonly measure landscape variables at multiple scales, only to select one scale, which this process shows the strongest species and landscape relationships. We learned that scale of effect done in multi-scale studies can result in the scale of effect not being a true scale of effect due to being arbitrarily selected and or the range is too narrow. The results of the reading found that multi-scale studies often have suboptimal scales, and to ensure we are able to get well-estimated species-landscape relationships, they recommend that scales, when landscape variables are measured, range widely from the size of a single territory